Growing up in the 70s as I did, it wasn't hard to be an atheist. My parents weren't very religious. We used to go to church uh, for a while. I think it was every Sunday. But that did dwindle off. And I think we ended up going, say, once a year at Christmas time. Of course, schooling was very naturalistic based. There was no religious things taught, being a public school. It was all about the theory of evolution and how things came about naturally. So, as I said, it wasn't hard being an atheist. The older I got, the more convinced I was that atheism was the way to go, that people who believed in God were weak. They needed some special guy up in the sky to look after them. So I kind of felt superior to them, and I was very science-based, so took it all hook, line and sinker. But if you look at it, what does atheism or evolution teach people? That there's no afterlife. There's no point doing good now for supposed or possible reward after death. That it's survival of the fittest. I think you can take that easily as survival of the strongest. So step on people if you have to get what you want. And make the most of this life, because there's nothing else. You just die and you're gone. All that remains is memories in other people of you. But it kind of also teaches that some races are better than others, which, yeah, isn't really good. And I did used to like debating my religious friends, thinking I knew everything, that I had held all the cards, that science had proven evolution beyond a doubt, and that they were just believing in some myth. So, yeah, I did enjoy that, even if I was slightly incorrect in my thinking of the time. So around my early 30s, my mother-in-law challenged me to look into this theory of evolution and see if it does actually hold up to critique. It wasn't hard to find a lot of critiques, even among the scientific community, of the theory of evolution, that it was basically speculation. There was certainly not repeatable. No one was there, no one witnessed it. The mutations, cell or DNA mutations that it relies on, aren't frequent enough and are usually bad for the organism. And even with the billions of years they claim, it's not enough time for the range of species we see on Earth. And that's just a quick overview of the critiques. I'll probably go into it in another video in a bit more detail, or comparing it to creationism, but enough to say now that there are a lot of critiques, and they do make sense if you look into them. And really, life does look designed. If you've seen the depictions of inside a living cell, the machinery and complexity of it, you've got to wonder how that came about by chance, and it does look very designed. And it's you. A lot of people will say, "Well, you're a science denier if you deny any part of science, or if you dare critique this theory of evolution, that you're denying science." But it's just one theory. It's not. I'm not denying gravity. I'm not denying the theory of relativity, if I can say the word. So it's just this one thing that I think is not testable. It's not demonstratable. What they really mean is that they can prove microevolution, which is fair enough. That's how we get dogs from an original wolf kind through specialized breeding. We're going to get all sorts of dogs, the Great Dane down to the Chihuahua. But the thing is, they're all dogs. They haven't changed into a not dog. So, yeah, anyway, that's what first quirked my curiosity into Christianity. And Christianity gives you a lot more meaning in life. It makes, to me, it made my marriage more important, more worthwhile, and made me want to get through the hard times easier. Made sure I stuck at it, no matter what, because it is important as a Christian to stick at your marriage and make it work. I also learnt that I had to respect my parents. So I wasn't always respectful in general. I was respectful, but there were times when I weren't, and I had to self-reflect and do my best to treat my parents with respect all the time. So hopefully I got there. My mother passed away 6 years ago, so sadly, very sadly. And also, like, another commandment is not to steal. So I do try my best in that category. Sometimes, I'm not perfect, so we won't go into any details about that per se. And also, as opposed to atheism or the theory of evolution, that all humans are the same under God, which I think's a much better perspective and doesn't allow a Christian to be a racist. Again, I'm working on that, but I know what I should be doing. So, as I said at the start, the education system seems very geared towards naturalistic ideas rather than what may best suit the evidence. And it seems more about indoctrination, especially nowadays, than teaching critical thinking, which is sad, I think. Especially tertiary education these days seems to be indoctrinating young adults rather than teaching them how to think. With regard to Christianity, just be careful of human doctrine, what humans add to the Bible. There is a lot of false doctrine in Christian circles or Christian churches, like even celebrating Christmas and Easter. It's not in the Bible. They're pagan traditions. The Bible explicitly says not to follow them. So, yeah, be careful what brand of Christianity you look into, or don't judge Christianity by the churches or the people who claim to be Christian. Use the Bible to guide your thinking, and don't be afraid to compare churches or Christians to what it says in the Bible. Anyway, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.